Attempting to stow away on an airplane that is hiding in the wheel well of a jetliner is one of the most obviously dangerous things to do. Hiding outside the pressurized environment of an airplane's cabin can definitely result in death. That's simply because the human body cannot survive the temperatures and lack of oxygen at cruising altitudes. Nevertheless, stowaways do survive from time to time. Stowaways and the low survival rate of this dangerous escapade is our focus. Welcome to Aviation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.
A stowaway is a person who secretly boards a vehicle, such as an aircraft, bus, ship, or even a train to travel without paying, and as well as not getting detected. As from January 2014, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration said there were 103 attempts on 92 flights recorded since 1947. That's 23.3% of which were successful. Just recently, a stowaway died after falling from a British Airways 747 jet and landed on the offices of a clothing business in Richmond, south of London. Here in Nigeria, in August of 2013, a 13-year-old boy hid himself in a wheel well of an Arik aircraft which flew from Benin to Lagos. It was one of such stories of stowaways in Nigerian aviation industry. The teenager thought he was heading to London. In March 2010, a Nigerian, Okechukwu Okeke, was found dead in the nose wheel compartment of the United States carrier Delta Airlines Boeing B777 aircraft parked on the tarmac of the Lagos airport. Many believe the desperation to find a better life is one key reason why many will risk their lives, leaving a breach in airport security where ramps and runways are typically marked as restricted areas.
So in a situation where you have stowaway, it means that you are talking about breach in security. And of course, it is a breach that is not to be tolerated in any form or in any guise. It is a breach that must be discouraged, and it is a breach that must be combated.
Airport security is a country's measures, techniques and methods used in protecting passengers, staff and aircraft which use the airports from accidental or malicious harm, crime and other threats. What will change in this process?
We have looked at our perimeter fence because we believe that the airside is of critical concern, because there you have the aircraft and there you have the passengers boarding the aircraft, and because that airside is vulnerable. But we recognize basically that the first line of defense against unauthorized access to aircraft is to make sure that the land side and airside boundary is clearly defined. And that is what we have done, particularly in the international airports. We have made sure that our fences are okay, even though some of them have been extensively vandalized. We have also come up with the idea of receiving an escort of aircraft, because past experience have shown that some of these people, they get themselves concealed somewhere, and maybe when the aircraft is not moving, they not have the opportunity of having access to the compartment, particularly the cargo compartment of the aircraft.
While airlines say they're doing their best to ensure this act is kept to the minimum, perhaps it's just far better to buy a ticket and travel in the cabin where hot meals and cool drinks are available, and you get to keep your memory and your life.
This is the anger of Nigeria's flag carrier, Arik Air. Here, a Boeing 737 aircraft is undergoing maintenance. The nose wheel is in view, a structure some stowaways make their home. This aircraft main landing gear under the wings is on the ground, with the outer and inner doors open. The undercarriage is my interest, and while the tires are out, I make my way in and I find it's a mesh and interconnection of multitude of wires and small cylinders. And when this tour is over, the Vice President, Flight Operations of Arik Air, Captain Ado Sanusi, tells me more about what I observed.
Where the wheels enter the fuselage of the airplane is called the wheel well. It is quite a very big place where you can imagine the whole wheel of the airplane, the main undercarriage of the airplane, enters into that position of the fuselage. So it is actually a very big space where the wheel will rest for the entire duration of the flight. The wheels will be inside the airplane. On a 737-700, which you have pictures on, it's a very small space, but you can have somebody to stand there. Somebody who is maybe a small boy can even have a place to lie down there. For a 747, which is a bigger airplane, you have a full-grown person can stand there. It has space for it, because don't forget that this is also a space where the engineers will go and do some checks. So there must be a space where the engineers will go and check, because it's usually where the hydraulic tanks are, where some other equipment that are related with the landing gear of the airplane. How will the intendant stowaway know that the airplane is going to go to United States or is going to go to Europe? They would not know that. They will only go to an airplane when they are very sure it's taxiing out, or when they are collaborating with ground staffs who will tell them this is the airplane that will fly. So study shows that stowaways usually enter the airplanes when the airplane is taxiing. When it's taxiing at a very slow speed, they run and enter it. The one we saw in Benin was when the airplane has just entered into position to take off. You know, when you are about to take off, there is that few minutes when you take clearance from the control tower. The stowaways take that advantage and go and climb into the wheel well. That is where the wheel will rest after airborne, and then tie themselves in. So that is the main time when they usually go into the wheel well area.